so pleased to have Thomas Fatone on Nyberg. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm fascinated by what you did. Over the period of 13 years,
yes.
You're driving around the state of Connecticut.
A lot of gas.
Yes, and you're taking pictures of the blue signs of Connecticut, 169 of them in cities and towns. Why did you do that, Thomas?
It's something that started when I was young. I guess I was fascinated. I saw the Trumbull sign on White Plains Road, and I always wanted to stop and read it, and I was 27 years old at the time. I pulled over with a friend, and I read the sign, and from then I was captivated, and I wanted to read more. And I guess I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I decided I was going to make Connecticut my little playground and travel around and visit each town and read each sign.
After I saw your book,
yes.
The Blue Signs of Connecticut, now I'm really starting to pay more attention to them. I knew that they existed,
right.
But on each one of them, we are told what about the towns?
Anything unique, the founding fathers of the town, what industry bought the town to have its name, the origin of the name of the town itself, and maybe any popular famous person who grew up or lived there at any time.
What did you learn about the state of Connecticut by taking pictures? And in this book, you write little blurbs about each town.
Right. Well, the book basically is about, it's a 2-for-1 deal. You get the history of each town in the state by reading the sign, and then you get to read about my experience, who I met, what I learned, maybe some place I ate, maybe I got a book somewhere which was really unique, and that's basically it.
Now, on your 40th birthday,
right.
And I don't know how old you are now.
Okay, right.
You can tell if you want.
47.
Oh, 47. See, I got it out of you. So, on your 40th birthday, in what town did you find yourself in?
Wow.
It was Barkhamsted.
Barkhamsted. I was actually.
What happened there? Do you remember?
In Barkhamsted, I remember there's a drive-in, one of the two only drive-in movie theaters in the state that are left and still operating. A very unique sign. It had a picture. The background was a cemetery, which I thought was very unique and different.
We love all the towns in the state.
Right.
Do you have a favorite as you were driving around and learning about them?
I could give you a list of 10. Maybe, I would go with Milford. I love Richfield because it's very historical. The Battle of Richfield took place there. I love Putnam with its galleries and antique shops, Woodbury and Milford, and of course Shelton, where I live.
Which is where you're from.
Where I'm from, right.
Did you ever set out to write a book, or did this just happen?
It basically just started as a hobby. I'd never thought I would write a book about this. Like I said, I saw the Trumbull sign, and in passing, if I was in New Haven, I would take a picture of the sign. If I was in Milford, where the signs are out there to view. A lot of signs are hard to find, and they're not for the naked eye to see, so to say.
What do you think people don't know about the state of Connecticut that they need to know after you've driven the whole state?
Basically, that each town has something different and unique to offer. For example, the town of Canterbury, just by reading the sign, everybody knows about Prudence Crandall. Maybe they don't, but also the founder of Cleveland, Ohio, came from Canterbury, and his name was Moses Cleveland. That's the interesting little facts that I never knew that I thought were very fascinating.
Is there a second book in you about anything?
Well, right now, I just had a son and I'm kind of busy, but maybe I've thought about maybe highways or maybe boroughs of Connecticut, maybe doing a book. For example, a lot of people think Mystic is officially one of the 169 towns. It's not. It's actually a village, which is part of Stonington and Groton.
See, and many people do not know that.
I didn't find it out until I was 27.
What has reaction been to this book? And it's been out about 3 years or so?
It's been about 3 years. It was very popular at first. It sort of died down, but recently it's gotten more popular because there's a running group in the state, and they're trying to run a race in each town, and they're using my book so they could find the signs. They go take a picture next to the sign when they run their races on the weekend.
Isn't that thrilling?
It is.
You had an idea, you acted on it over 13 years.
Right.
People are finding your book and they think it's kind of neat.
They think it's cool. Yeah.
What do you think going forward that folks need to know about the state that they don't, that you've found out?
A lot of people might say that Connecticut is boring, that there's nothing to do here, and that we're always looking for an identity. Whereas New York doesn't need one, and Massachusetts. I think that we are one of the original 13 states, colonies, so to say, and we do have a lot of history here. There may be not a lot of fun and great things to do, but each town has its own little story, and you could find that by reading the book.
And you do have a governor in your book.
I do have a governor in my book. I saved the last town, which would be Hartford, our capital, for last, and I took the picture at the time with Jody Rell.
Her response to what you were doing?
she was very interested when I met her that day. She had some time for me, and I met her in Hartford. It was 2000, and I think might say in the book, like 2010. And she was very interested and actually shook my hand, gave me a hug. She said, thank you very much for doing this. A lot of people, I haven't even been to every single town in the state, and you've done this, and it's very interesting.
What did you learn over 13 years?
What did I learn? Wow, I could go on.
Go on.
I could go on. For example, the names of the towns. We have the town of Morris, and Morris, and named after somebody who was a man who was a prisoner of war in Connecticut as well. Like I mentioned, Canterbury, Putnam, named after General Israel Putnam. Don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes. I learned about Nathan Hale up in Coventry. Wolcott, we're learning that he was a mayor or our governor of our state at one time. Every town has something to offer, and especially like the town of Farmington, which broke off into 9 towns. Avon, broke off into Simsbury. All these towns broke off from the original towns.
Well, I thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
And I thank you for educating the state about itself.
Thank you.
And I hope when folks are driving around and they see those blue signs in
Right.
every town that they think about you and think about the state.
Keep in mind that I know all the signs are in the town green, some are inside.
See what you know. Thomas Fatone, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.